you'll vote soon in New South Wales in now under a month. And the March of the Teals too. They won big in the federals, bombed in Victoria. How are they going to fare up in New South Wales? But let's get to super now. As always, the devil's in the detail. Join me now to make sense of some of this, or at least what we know. And who else might be on the hit list? Contributing economics editor at The Australian, Judith Sloan. Well, Judith, I don't know if you caught my exchange there with Andrew Clennell. He thinks that people will say much ado about nothing. It affects, basically no one, only 80,000 or so rich Australians. My concern with this sort of stuff is anyone with super will think that they are next. This is sort of the thin edge of the wedge. Once they start breaking promises and making changes, you don't know where it's going to end up. And, of course, you've got the allied complication. Even if they don't go after your immediate balance, if they're going to force super funds to invest in things that the government approves of, like social housing or climate change, rather than what's the best investment to grow your balance, then everyone's impacted, aren't they?
Look, I think that's right, and I disagree with Andrew, actually, because I think most people outside the Beltway are not following this closely, and all they hear about is superannuation and taxation, superannuation and change. So I think people are very skittish about this, and I think in many ways it's a gift to the Liberal Party and probably a gift to Peta in New South Wales, and possibly also a factor in the Aston by-election. The thing is that $3 million no doubt sounds like a lot of money. But bear in mind, Peter, people have accumulated those balances completely legitimately using the rules of the day. To change it now is retrospective. Let's be clear about that. It's retrospective. Now, perhaps they can get away with it, but let's be absolutely clear about it. But there are two other elements to what came out today. One is, and I think this is a disgrace, they are going to legislate the change that will come in 2025 in this term of Parliament. I mean, why not wait till the result of the election and then legislate it? I mean, that strikes me as being really a two-card trick, that one. And secondly, Chalmers, who really I don't think understands this, by the way, but I think Albo had to kind of concede to a degree because it made him look a complete goose if there wasn't any change. He's saying that $3 million will not be indexed, so it's be frozen, right? So in the context of a higher inflationary environment, people will start to hit the cap much more than they would have in the past. So it's not a benign change. It mightn't affect a lot of people now. It affects a lot of people in those teal seats, by the way, so there's sort of politics there. But I mean, Peter, you and I remember 2016. It was absolutely devastating for the Liberal Party. A lot of people resigned and never came back. And people were aghast at the principle of undertaking what has been a long-term investment, supposedly with steady rules. Now, 2016 was a mistake. It's a mistake in 2023.